Alright, welcome back. So today we're going to be doing shoot, and I hope I do it fast enough. So first thing I did was actually create a property parameter. So if you remember how to do it, you just right click on your asset browser, create code, and press property, and I called it bullet property. So just right click it, show in explorer, and open it up, and we'll only have one parameter, and we call it the prefab, and it's a type of file. So apparently file could be a parameter, so we're going to keep that, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually attach it to the shotgun. We could attach it to the node reference itself, but we'd rather attach it to the shotgun. Reason why we're going to do that is for later on in the video when we actually add like bullet amount and cycling through all the reloading and all that, but for now let's just do that. The other thing I did was actually add a node dummy. So right click, create, add a node dummy, and I called it a bullet spawner. So what I did was I put it right near the front. Now because we're looking in perspective it looks weird, but it's basically right at the front of the muzzle. So that's where the bullet will spawn out of. Okay, so we got that done, and then we got to put the shotgun bullet property inside the shotgun thing, and what's going to ask for is a prefab, and this is going to be our bullet. So how do you make a bullet? Basically, to make a bullet is just right click, create primitive, and we're just going to create like a simple capsule bullet. It's going to be a size of half 0.05 and the height of 8 stacks, and probably like 2 slices, good enough, and just place it wherever you want in the world. We'll just zero it out so it's on the bottom here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it up into our viewing distance, and we got a giant tic tac in the middle of the air. So that's going to be our bullet. Just name it to bullet, and we're going to give him a physics of rigid body, and we're going to give him a capsule shape. Just press add and it'll automatically put the constraints. So now we have physics body. So if we were to press save and simulate it, as you can see, fell around on the ground. So just remove the simulation and he's there. Now to make this into a node reference or a prefab, we just click and hold it and put it in our asset browser, and now we have the bullet.node. So now we can delete this bullet because whenever we pull it out it's going to be right there in front of our faces. Alright, so what we're going to do is now we go inside the shotgun and we're just going to link the bullet.node as the prefab into our shotgun. So now the shotgun is connected to our prefab. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is actually give the bullet. So if we go back, let's just put it back here. We go into the bullet and we're going to add a class property. So what I called it was just bullet for our purposes, and I'm just going to give it the bullet class property. And what this does is if we go inside the header, we'll have 2 float times. One is the start time and one is lifetime. So the moment it spawns, it has 2 seconds to stay in the world before it gets killed, and we're just gonna do that as our coding. And what we're gonna do is basically start time equals to Unigine game get time. So now it registers the time it was created, and then we're just going to do an if statement, and doesn't even. Okay, so if and we're going to do Unigine game get time minus start time is greater than lifetime. So now that we have got the time, and the time's still running in the simulation, so if it gets bigger, if that difference is bigger than the lifetime, then we just destroy it. So delete later, basically the end of the frame, it will be deleted. So that takes care of that. So every bullet that gets created will be deleted immediately. So we save that, and now we don't touch that, so that's gone. So for our detection ray, what I decided to do was make one more function inside the shooter animation, and I called it void get gun, which has an object pointer gun, and I decided to add two things. One is an object pointer gun, which the class takes care of. Now, in hindsight, it shouldn't even be called shooter anim. It should be called like character controller or character manager or something. But anyways, object pointer gun, and we have the node reference pointer, the bullet prefab. So now you can see what's going on. So as we get the gun, we go into the detection ray, we use that public function get gun, and we put the object that we're picking up into it. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to use that object and put it as our items. So the first thing we're going to do is this gun equals to gun. Since they both have the same name, what this means is the class variable gun, which is this guy right here, would equal to gun. And then the bullet prefab, we're gonna do we're gonna write it in a longer version. So bullet prefab, I'm gonna, for space time, we're gonna save some space. We're gonna use the Unigine. Alright, we're gonna do the node reference because we need a node reference, and we're gonna use create. Now why we're using create is actually because if we go here in the node reference class, create actually creates a constructor which object that references a node path file. So this is more of creating a reference pointer. So our preface, our bullet prefab is already a pointer, so we're just creating a pointer to this reference character. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go into the gun .get, alright, and then do the arrows as usual, and then we're gonna get the property number 0, and then we're going to .get, and then we're going to do this, then we're gonna get the get parameter pointer number 0 dot get, and then do this again. And what I just wrote right now is going to be, so if we look here, gun.get, so we're going to the shotgun and we're getting the shotgun itself, then we're getting property number 0, which is the bullet property, then we're getting the parameter pointer, which is the first parameter we have, which is the bullet node, and now we're actually referencing the bullet thingy. So now we're gonna get the get value file. So this returns the value of the file parameter, which is basically the file parameter's constant character path. So now we have connected our bullet prefab and we have connected our gun. So the next thing we're going to do is actually write a shoot. So if I go back here, shoot is just a regular function, and what I did was if I'm aiming, alright, and while I'm aiming I press the left button, so I start clicking, it's supposed to shoot. So it's a little simple thing. I could put it in equip, but I don't want to. Let's just say only for only when you're aiming you shoot. Other than that, nothing happens. Okay, so how do we write this? Okay, so to write this, we're gonna first get the spawner point. The spawner point is where the bullet is going to come out of. So in our case, that muzzle point on top, that bullet spawner, we're going to get that first. So we're going to do we'll do a simple, let's see, how do we do this? In order or in position? So we'll do in order. So first things first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna call Unigine. We're gonna do a node pointer, So, and we're just gonna call it bullet for now. Or we can do underscore bullet, so just to make sure everyone understands. And then Unigine, and then we're gonna go into the world. I can't spell. Alright, so now we're in the world itself. And then we're going to load node. So now it's gonna ask for the constant character pointer. So what we're going to do is get the bullet prefab. Alright, dot get order, and then get node path. So now it's getting the path. Alright, so now we actually are going to load the bullet prefab using this. So it's loaded, and we also stored the reference into bullet. Now what we're going to do is so it's loaded into the world, it doesn't know where to load. So what we're going to do is now we're going to set its path. So bullet set world position. Alright, and now it's going to ask for a vector 3. So we're going to go back into our gun get, and then we can go to the child number 0. Okay, and then we're going to get the world position, because essentially the spawner is the child of the shotgun, so we can just do that, save ourselves a little bit of time. So now it's going to be exactly there. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the reference to the body rigid, the physics, and then we're going to add a linear impulse. So how we're going to do that is we'll just use a simple body rigid pointer, and we're gonna say bullet physics. Okay, and then we're gonna just go into the bullet, and then dot get a bullet, not that, get there, and then get object body rigid. Alright, so now it's connected, and then we can just start coding from here. So we'll just do a underscore bullet physics, and then we'll do an arrow and add a linear impulse, just like we normally do. And we're just going to add a simple impulse, and we're going to add a direction. So just to save us time, we're going to use nodes get world get direction, world direction, and we're just going to take the front direction of the body that we're looking at, and we're just going to shoot it straight. So we're making this a lot easier for ourselves. Of course you can add the whole technicalities, but we'll do that later. So we'll just go into Unigine math, and then we'll go into axis underscore y. So that's the front axis of Unigine, and then we're just gonna times it by 50 so it goes really fast. And in terms of what we want, I said the person, so the guy we're looking at, his body. So if you have the gun, we're just gonna for now just shoot straight the same way he's facing it. Alright, so let's just save this, and I think that should be it. Let me just press play. So now we have the object and it died. So we're gonna first pick it up. Alright, pressing right click, left click doesn't do anything, but once I hold left click, right, it's holding it. So now if I press, it's going to shoot, and it shot exactly from the place that we have the spawner, and it's shooting straight. So it looks a little off, but that's because we're telling it to shoot straight from what the body itself is staring at. Now you can go ahead and use the guns straight and shoot straight, but so far we got our little shooter. Now the next thing we're going to do is I guess, interaction. So let's say if it shoots, I don't know. Probably the next thing we're gonna do is actually change the camera, because this is a little annoying, because we have our little guy moving, but we want the camera to act as the aimer. So wherever I'm aiming with the camera, it should shoot exactly that way. And I guess we'll do that for our next episode. Alright, that took a little bit longer than it should, but we are done. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.